True power does not always roar. It often speaks in silence. Faith at its core is a quiet force unseen, yet deeply felt. It does not demand recognition, nor does it parade itself before the world. It lives within the stillness of the heart, where battles are fought and won without a single sound. There is a unique kind of strength that rises when the world is loud with doubt, and yet a person stands firm, calm, and unshaken. This is the strength of faith's silence, the inner conviction that something greater than the storm exists within us. When chaos surrounds us, it is easy to believe that strength must shout to be real. We often think power is about dominance, volume, or control. But true power is steadiness, the ability to hold one's ground when fear, uncertainty, and pain press in from all sides. Faith does not remove the storm, it gives you the strength to endure it. In the stillness of your soul, it whispers, you will not be broken. That whisper, though soft, carries more force than the loudest cry of despair. The quiet strength of faith appears in life's smallest moments, in the decision to rise each morning despite the weight of yesterday's disappointments, in the resolve to smile when the heart is weary, in the courage to hope when the evidence seems to say otherwise. It is found in those who continue to love even after being hurt, who continue to give even when they have little left, who continue to dream even when the world tells them their dreams are impossible. These are not gestures of weakness, but of immense inner power. Silence is not the absence of strength, it is the cradle of it. In silence, faith matures. When life strips away noise, distraction, and applause, what remains is the essence of belief, pure, raw, and unyielding. It is in those quiet moments that we rediscover who we are and what we stand for. The person who can stand quietly in faith when everything seems lost is the person who cannot truly be defeated. Faith's strength is not measured by how loudly we proclaim our confidence, but by how deeply we trust when there is no visible reason to do so. When the path is dark, faith becomes our inner light. When we are alone, faith becomes our companion. When we are uncertain, faith becomes our compass. It teaches us that even in stillness we are moving forward, even in weakness we are growing stronger, and even in silence we are preparing for the dawn. There is power in the unseen, power in the unspoken, power in the quiet heart that continues to believe. Faith is the courage to stand tall without needing the world's applause, to move forward without needing the map, and to keep your soul steady while the winds of life try to shake you. The world often celebrates those whose names shine in headlines and whose achievements echo in history books, but the true architects of change are rarely seen or celebrated. They live quietly among us, the mothers who sacrifice sleep to nurture their children, the teachers who stay after hours to guide a struggling student, the workers who give their best even when no one is watching, and the neighbors who extend a helping hand without expecting anything in return. These are the ordinary people who, through their humility and perseverance, weave the fabric of humanity. They are not driven by glory but by purpose, and in their simplicity lies the extraordinary power to transform the world. Ordinary people create extraordinary change not because they possess great resources or influence, but because they possess great hearts. They understand that change begins not with loud declarations, but with quiet deeds. Each small act of goodness becomes a ripple that extends far beyond its origin. A kind word can heal a wounded spirit. A single act of honesty can inspire trust in a disheartened world. It is through such moments that the ordinary become remarkable, for they remind us that greatness is not defined by position or fame, but by compassion in action. There is profound strength in the people who continue to believe in goodness even when surrounded by darkness. They do not wait for perfect conditions to make a difference. They act because they know that even the smallest light can push back the night. Their courage is not loud but steady, the quiet persistence to do what is right, again and again, even when the world offers no applause. They do not seek recognition. Their reward lies in knowing that someone's day was made brighter, someone's burden made lighter, someone's hope restored because they cared enough to act. These everyday heroes show us that the foundation of progress is not built solely by leaders or visionaries, but by countless individuals who live with integrity and compassion. The nurse who tends to the sick with patience, the student who stands up against injustice, the farmer who works tirelessly to feed others, each one contributes a thread to the grand tapestry of humanity. Their efforts may go unnoticed, but without them, the world would lose its balance. The quiet power of their faith and perseverance holds communities together and gives meaning to our collective struggle for a better tomorrow. When we look closer, we realize that greatness has never been about grand gestures. It has always been about the consistent, often unseen choices that uphold dignity and kindness in daily life. It is about doing what must be done, even when no one praises you for it. The ordinary person who chooses to live with compassion, honesty, and faith becomes the silent revolution that reshapes the world from within. Courage does not come from the absence of fear. It is born in the heart that dares to believe despite fear's presence. When belief takes root within us, it becomes the spark that ignites action even in the face of uncertainty. Faith and courage are inseparable companions. One feeds the other, one strengthens the other. When a person believes deeply in a cause, in a dream, or in the goodness of life itself, courage rises naturally. It does not need to be summoned with effort. It flows quietly from conviction. The power of belief is that it transforms what once seemed impossible into something worth fighting for. There are moments when doubt seems louder than hope, when challenges tower high and defeat whispers that resistance is useless. Yet in those moments, belief steps forward like a light cutting through fog. It does not eliminate fear, but it gives purpose to stand against it. The soldier who marches toward danger, the parent who protects a child against all odds, the dreamer who continues to build despite repeated failure, each of them is sustained not by the absence of fear, but by belief in something greater. It is this belief that gives courage its heartbeat. Belief fuels endurance. It tells the weary heart, you can take one more step. It whispers to the broken spirit, you are not finished yet. When a person believes in their worth, in their purpose, in the possibility of change, they find a strength that logic cannot explain. Belief transforms ordinary people into forces of resilience. It makes them face rejection with grace, hardship with dignity, and failure with the will to begin again. It reminds them that courage is not a single act of bravery, but a continuous decision to trust in the unseen and keep moving forward. Courage born from belief is not loud or dramatic. It often takes shape in quiet persistence, in the choice to continue showing up when others have stopped trying. It is in the heart of the activist who refuses to surrender to injustice, in the voice of the child who dares to speak the truth, in the worker who keeps building a dream brick by brick. Their courage is anchored not in pride, but in faith, faith that every effort, no matter how small, carries meaning. Belief gives courage a reason to exist. Without it, bravery becomes hollow, fleeting, and uncertain. The true measure of courage lies in the depth of belief behind it. When you believe in something with all your heart, fear loses its power to control you. You may still feel its presence, but it no longer defines your actions. Belief steadies the trembling hands, lifts the bowed head, and compels the soul to rise again. It transforms hesitation into movement and despair into determination. It is belief that turns ordinary courage into unstoppable strength, guiding every step with the quiet certainty that what you are doing matters, that what you stand for is worth every risk. Greatness is not built in a single grand gesture, nor is it the result of one defining moment. It is born through countless small acts, simple, consistent, and often unseen. The world tends to celebrate the extraordinary while overlooking the steady rhythm of quiet effort that sustains progress. Yet it is in these small, daily actions that the foundation of greatness is laid. A kind word spoken to someone in despair, a hand extended to lift another, a task done with honesty when no one is watching, these are the seeds that grow into forests of lasting change. Each act may seem insignificant on its own, but together they form the architecture of a life well lived and a world well built. The power of small acts lies in their ability to create ripples. A single moment of kindness can inspire others to do the same, setting off a chain of goodness that reaches far beyond what we can see. When a person chooses integrity in a moment of temptation, they strengthen the moral fiber of a community. When someone forgives instead of retaliating, they teach peace to everyone who witnesses it. When we look at the great movements of history, we find that they were not built overnight, but through the cumulative courage and compassion of many individuals taking small, faithful steps in the right direction. It is easy to believe that our efforts are too small to matter, that real change requires wealth, power, or influence. But the truth is, every great transformation began with a single person deciding to do something good, however small, and refusing to stop. The teacher who patiently explains a lesson one more time, the volunteer who spends a few hours helping others, the friend who listens with empathy instead of judgment, all of them are architects of change. They may never see the full extent of their impact, but their actions send light into places where darkness once lingered. The beauty of small acts is that they are within everyone's reach. You do not need to be powerful to show kindness, nor famous to be compassionate. You simply need the will to care. Each time you act with love, integrity, or courage, you add another stone to the path that leads toward a better world. These small acts accumulate. They build strength in character, trust in relationships, and hope in communities. Greatness, then, is not a distant peak to be conquered, but a journey walked step by step, moment by moment, choice by choice. In the quiet repetition of doing what is right, we discover the secret of true greatness. It is not about recognition, but about persistence. It is about waking up each day and choosing to contribute, to care, to try again even when the world seems indifferent. These seemingly small moments are the threads that hold together the tapestry of humanity, reminding us that what we do every day, however modest, has the power to shape tomorrow. Greatness is not built in a single grand gesture, nor is it the result of one defining moment. It is born through countless small acts, simple, consistent, and often unseen. The world tends to celebrate the extraordinary while overlooking the steady rhythm of quiet effort that sustains progress. Yet it is in these small, daily actions that the foundation of greatness is laid. A kind word spoken to someone in despair, a hand extended to lift another, a task done with honesty when no one is watching, these are the seeds that grow into forests of lasting change. Each act may seem insignificant on its own, but together they form the architecture of a life well lived and a world well built. The power of small acts lies in their ability to create ripples. A single moment of kindness can inspire others to do the same, setting off a chain of goodness that reaches far beyond what we can see. When a person chooses integrity in a moment of temptation, they strengthen the moral fiber of a community. When someone forgives instead of retaliating, they teach peace to everyone who witnesses it. When we look at the great movements of history, we find that they were not built overnight, but through the cumulative courage and compassion of many individuals taking small, faithful steps in the right direction. It is easy to believe that our efforts are too small to matter, that real change requires wealth, power, or influence. But the truth is, Every great transformation began with a single person deciding to do something good, however small, and refusing to stop. The teacher who patiently explains a lesson one more time, the volunteer who spends a few hours helping others, the friend who listens with empathy instead of judgment, all of them are architects of change. They may never see the full extent of their impact, but their actions send light into places where darkness once lingered. The beauty of small acts is that they are within everyone's reach. You do not need to be powerful to show kindness, nor famous to be compassionate. You simply need the will to care. Each time you act with love, integrity, or courage, you add another stone to the path that leads toward a better world. These small acts accumulate. They build strength in character, trust in relationships, and hope in communities. Greatness, then, is not a distant peak to be conquered, but a journey walked step by step, moment by moment, choice by choice. In the quiet repetition of doing what is right, we discover the secret of true greatness. It is not about recognition, but about persistence. It is about waking up each day and choosing to contribute, to care, to try again even when the world seems indifferent. These seemingly small moments are the threads that hold together the tapestry of humanity, reminding us that what we do every day, however modest, has the power to shape tomorrow. Faith is not a promise of an easy path. It is the quiet strength that keeps us moving when the road becomes rough. Perseverance is the living face of faith, the visible expression of what it means to believe even when results are slow to appear. It is the determination to continue when every part of you longs to stop. Faith whispers that every struggle has purpose, every delay holds a lesson, and every obstacle conceals an opportunity for growth. When we persevere, we prove that our faith is not built on comfort or convenience, but on conviction. The measure of one's belief is not found in moments of ease, but in the decision to endure through hardship. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through seasons of doubt, disappointment, and exhaustion. Yet it is in those seasons that faith becomes most powerful. When the heart grows weary and the outcome remains unseen, perseverance becomes a declaration, a statement that says, "I will not surrender to defeat." It is not the absence of pain that defines strength, but the refusal to let pain dictate your destiny. Faith gives you the courage to rise again, to try again, and to hope again, even when logic tells you there is no reason left to do so. Perseverance shaped by faith transforms failure into a teacher rather than a judge. It reminds us that falling is not the end, but a part of the journey toward mastery. Each time we rise from a setback, we carry with us a new wisdom, a deeper resilience, and a clearer understanding of who we are. Faith gives meaning to endurance. It turns mere survival into progress. It teaches patience not as passive waiting, but as active trust, the belief that what you are building, striving for, or healing will come to fruition in its time. This trust allows a person to endure not with bitterness, but with peace. The essence of perseverance is quiet consistency. It is not always heroic or dramatic. Sometimes it is simply getting up, showing up, and doing the next right thing. The farmer who tends his crops day after day despite unpredictable weather, the student who studies diligently despite past failures, the caregiver who continues to serve despite exhaustion, each of them embodies the union of faith and perseverance. They teach that true endurance is not fueled by instant success, but by belief in the value of the effort itself. There will always be moments when progress feels invisible, when faith feels fragile, and when the journey seems endless. Yet perseverance means continuing to move forward, even with small steps, trusting that those steps matter. Faith gives strength to those steps. It reminds us that time is not the enemy but a partner in growth. Every moment of perseverance refines the soul, strengthens character, and deepens belief. To persevere through hardship is to live one's faith in action, to let trust carry you where sight cannot, and to allow hope to lead even when the destination is still beyond the horizon. There is a light that lives within every human being, a quiet glow that flickers even when surrounded by darkness. That light is faith, and it waits for a single decision, the choice to begin. Too often we wait for perfect timing, for the right resources, or for someone else to lead the way. Yet greatness has never been born from waiting. The light of faith grows brighter only when it is put into motion, when belief is turned into action. Being the light means daring to take the first step even when the path ahead is unclear. It means trusting that one act of courage, one moment of kindness, one gesture of integrity can ripple through the world in ways unseen but deeply felt. Every person carries the potential to illuminate their surroundings. You do not need a title, wealth, or recognition to bring light where it is needed. You simply need the willingness to start. A small act of compassion can ease a stranger's burden. A word of encouragement can reignite someone's hope. A stand for truth, taken quietly but firmly, can shift the moral course of a community. When you decide to be the light, you become a beacon for others who are searching for strength. Faith does not demand perfection. It asks only that you shine with sincerity. The light of faith is not loud or boastful. It does not blind others. It guides them. In a world often clouded by fear, cynicism, and division, being the light means choosing understanding over anger, empathy over indifference, and love over judgment. It means refusing to mirror the darkness that surrounds you and instead becoming the contrast that reminds others of what is possible. To start now, wherever you are, is to acknowledge that waiting for better circumstances is another form of doubt. Action, no matter how small, turns belief into reality. The greatest transformations in history began with individuals who decided to act when it was hardest to do so. They did not have guarantees of success, yet they stepped forward because they believed their effort mattered. Each of us holds that same power. You do not need to change the entire world in one moment. It is enough to change the moment in front of you. When you offer kindness where there is bitterness, hope where there is despair, or honesty where there is deceit, you become the embodiment of faith in action. Starting now means embracing the present as the only moment that truly belongs to you. The future is shaped not by grand plans alone, but by what you choose to do today. Every time you decide to act with compassion, integrity, and purpose, you add light to a world that desperately needs it. Your faith expressed through simple deeds and genuine work